The views expressed in these op-eds are solely my own and do not in any way represent the views of the BNN editorial board or the Bluebird News advisors or any individual associated with BNN. Robert's Rule. Order, not authority. Why Robert's rules still matter. Ask 5 people at your organization how their meetings are run. You will get 6 different answers, and that's not counting absent members. If your members understand parliamentary procedure at all, chances are they wrestle with misconceptions. Perhaps the biggest myth, Robert's Rules itself. Too often, Robert's Rules of Order are seen as some sort of ironclad legislative doctrine, or it is ignored completely. Neither is the intent of Robert's Rules. It was designed to serve organizations, not govern them. Here's the history. Robert's Rules originated in 1876 with an American Army officer, Henry Martin Robert. While on vacation, Robert was asked to preside over a public meeting. What should have been a simple task quickly devolved into disorder. Nobody at the meeting knew how to debate. They didn't understand how to vote on decisions. There wasn't even an agreed upon way to recognize speakers. The chaos inspired Robert to create a uniform system of parliamentary procedure. Robert published his ideas in a little book entitled Robert's Rules of Order. His purpose was explicit: to provide order, fairness, and clarity to the lawmaking process. Robert's Rules has been bringing structure to organizations ever since. It was never meant to control organizations, only to prevent them from controlling them unfairly. At its heart, Robert's Rules is exactly that, a guide for order in group decision-making. Its purpose is to provide a method for members to bring ideas forward through motions, guarantee every member the opportunity to speak, facilitate organized debate on relevant ideas, allow groups to efficiently reach decisions. Robert's Rules protects majority rule while also allowing for minority voices. When used correctly, it allows everyone to be heard, but still forces a decision. For organizations, it enables efficiency and equity, but it doesn't force organizations to adopt it. Unfortunately, that's where some organizations go wrong. Contrary to widely held belief, Robert's Rules itself doesn't govern. It doesn't supplement an organization's constitution or bylaws. It doesn't make policy. It only comes into play when organizations choose to adopt it as their procedure, and when no rule exists on a particular issue. Think of Robert's Rules as the tool that keeps your organization organized. From student governments and executive boards to committee meetings and even news organizations, skilled application of Robert's Rules allows organizations to run better meetings. Decisions are recorded clearly. Conflict is resolved according to process, not emotion. And leaders are held accountable to the rules, not their own whims. Robert's Rules creates a level playing field in an otherwise competitive environment. It doesn't matter if your organization is made up of 2 people or 200. Rules create a structure where everyone is given an equal voice. Whether you're an officer or a member running your first meeting, Robert's Rules' loud voices don't overpower the timid. Experienced members can't strong-arm the newbies. Everyone gets a fair shot to contribute. However, when it's not understood or utilized, that structure collapses. Meetings become unorganized, decisions are made but lack legitimacy, debate becomes personal instead of productive, those with unofficial power start calling the shots. And worst of all, members lose trust in the organization. When procedures are unclear, or worse, inconsistently applied, members stop caring. In the absence of structure, every decision is called into question. In the absence of fairness, decisions are perceived as tyranny. The other danger in using Robert's Rules is tyrannize. Some people like to weaponize procedure to shut down participation. They use their procedural knowledge to intimidate rather than to include. That is the opposite of order and never the intent of Robert's Rules. Procedure without purpose or kindness is a tool for abuse. Robert's Rules isn't about being perfect. It's about being clear. Successful organizations don't become so by memorizing 38 motions and a manual thicker than most textbooks. They use Robert Rules as it was intended, a resource to keep meetings on track, a resource to make transparent decisions, and a resource to hold leaders accountable to something other than their own fallibility. Student leaders are held to higher standards these days. They should be. We're expected to run professional, inclusive, and ethical organizations. If we don't provide that for our members, they'll find it elsewhere. Procedure creates a framework for leaders to rise to the occasion. Order does not exist to restrict members. It exists to give organizations credibility. Order is how we ensure every voice is heard. Accountability is how we ensure every decision can be trusted. When we value both, we create organizations that aren't just functional, but credible. And if you honestly think that that's too rigid, then you are not fighting for fairness. You are fighting to keep getting your own way. That is not leadership. That's ego with a gavel. Robert's Rules doesn't tell organizations how to run itself. It simply helps your organization run better. Kirk Pacheco, Managing Editor, Bluebird News Network.